This next intentionally vulnerable VM is called Broken Gallery. We'll be trying to obtain root access to this Linux machine. So first step is to import the OVF file by double clicking it. And we're going to name that Broken Gallery. Just click import. Once the VM is imported, right-click Broken Gallery. We're going to check the settings real quick. So click Settings, go to the Network tab, and it should be attached to the host-only adapter. So this is good. Now we're going to start the VM and go over to Kali Linux once it's booted up. As with all the others, open up a terminal. We'll be using netdiscover. So netdiscover-i eth1, find that IP address of Broken Gallery. Okay, once the scan has discovered your IP address, let's move on to an Nmap scan. So Control-C to kill that. We're just running a basic Nmap scan like before. Okay, so it looks like we have port 22, which is running SSH, and port 80, which is running Apache web server. I also see that Nmap has automatically enumerated a couple of files here in the web root. So I'm going to check out port 80 first. Let's just minimize this and open up a web browser. We'll access that IP address, http:// and the IP address of Broken Gallery. Looks like I have a proxy server running. So for those who had Burp Suite open before, if you do not turn off your proxy, then you will not be able to get in. So let's just turn that off real quick. All right, so there are all the files that were listed in Nmap. So now what I want to do is download all these .jpg files and analyze them to see if there's any interesting data embedded within them, because this is something that I've encountered a lot in the past with capture the flag challenges. So just click on these and just save them into my downloads folder and go back. So I'll just open up new tabs. And I'm just saving all these into my downloads folder. All right, just minimize that. Go back to your terminal here. Just going to clear out that. Don't need it anymore. And we'll go to the downloads directory. First thing I want to do is to use the strings command. I'm going to use it on all the files in this directory that have a .jpg extension. Pipe that to less just so I can have a nice way to visualize it. All right, and so now we have to just manually look through all these lines to see if there's anything interesting here. So far, nothing but garbage. Okay, I've reached the end of the less output here, and I do not see anything interesting. So let's try a different method. We're going to try to use steghide, which is a steganography tool that's able to hide and retrieve hidden data in these .jpg files if it exists. So type steghide extract -sf and the name of one of these image files. So let's see, we have the 5terry.jpg. It's asking us for a passphrase. I'm just going to try the name of the file as a passphrase, see if that works. Okay, so either we have an incorrect passphrase or it just does not have any embedded data. So I'm going to go ahead and run steghide on all of these files with multiple permutations of these file names and see if we can get anything out of that. Okay, so I'm not having any luck here with steghide, so I'm just going to quit for now, and I'm going to switch my attention to SSH. So we have the names of all these files. Maybe if I make a word list with all of these file names, then I can use that word list to brute force attack SSH. So let's try that real quick. So you want to use bash to automate everything you can whenever possible. So instead of manually clicking on each one, I'm just going to list the contents of the directory with ls, pipe that to grep everything with a .jpg extension, and I'm going to pipe that to sed. So I'm going to remove that .jpg extension so I have a nice word list. So sed s / put in a literal dot. That's what that backslash is before the dot. JPG //. That's going to replace .jpeg with nothing. There you go. Now we have a little word list we can use. I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to make a new file. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing all that, we could just redirect it to a file called word list. There you go. Now we're going to try a brute force attack against SSH. So using Hydra, we can accomplish this task. Hydra-L, we're going to use this word list we just created. So word list and -p, we're also going to use the same word list for the password. So we're going to use all these strings here as the username and password and iterate through each one of them for all combinations. And we'll do IP address of broken gallery and specify the protocol as SSH. Okay, 0 valid passwords found. That is unsuccessful. Let's try to improve this word list by using RS Mangler, which is going to create a bunch of permutations of these words. I'll show you how to do that now. First of all, I want to remove the img underscore from each word. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. See that img underscore? I want to strip that off and just be left with these words here. So just quickly pipe that to sed. I'm going to remove img underscore. I'm going to put that in a new file called wordlist2. So I'm just going to open wordlist2. And I'm going to add a couple words at the top here. I'm just going to add broken and gallery. And we're going to use this word list with RS Mangler. All right, so let's go over this RS Mangler command. It's a pretty large command here. All these switches here mean that these parameters are turned off. So all of those are on by default. Now we have the M switch, which is the minimum word length, and the X switch, which is the maximum word length. So minimum of 6, maximum of 8. And you can check out what each one of these switches does. I just turned off a lot of them because it would make a huge word list, and we cannot have an exorbitant length of words because it'll take forever for the brute force attack. So we have a F switch, which is the wordlist2 file that we just created, and we're going to output it to a file named mangled. So hit enter. Just wait for that to complete. Okay, so once that's done, you're going to be left with a file named mangled. So let's just cat mangled and pipe that to wc-l. That's going to see how many lines are in the file. So we have 480 words in this word list. That's not too bad. We don't want to have a giant word list. It's going to take forever with Hydra. So now let's move on to Hydra. We're going to use a word list of wordlist2 for the usernames because we don't want to use the mangled word list for the usernames and the passwords. That's going to take forever as well. So we'll use the mangled file for the password word list, and we're going to specify the IP address of broken gallery and the protocol, which is SSH. Okay, so in no time at all, we've been able to brute force the password. It has a password of broken and a username of broken. So we actually didn't need to generate this mangled word list at all, but it was good that I was able to show you how to do it in case it wasn't this easy. Really, we could have just guessed broken and gotten right in. So let's go ahead and switch over to a SSH and see if that'll work. SSH broken at IP address of broken gallery. Password is broken. Okay, we're in. So now that we're in, let's check the sudo privileges. Sudo -l. All right. So it looks like we are able to run the commands time date ctl and reboot. So time date ctl allows us to change the system clock settings, and reboot obviously reboots the system. So let's see if there's a way that we can possibly exploit this pseudo privilege that we have. A good thing I like to do post-exploitation when enumerating a system is to check the command history. So just go ahead and type in history. Okay. So I see, yeah, they're running this command here. And then I see password policy.sh. That's something that may be interesting. All right, so let's find out where password-policy.sh is at. Okay, it's not here in our home directory. I see it. It's in etc init.d. Actually, okay. It's .sudo as admin successful. I wonder what that is. Nothing. All right, so we want to find this file here. I'm going to try to locate it. Oops. Okay. So we're able to cat the file. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is a simple shell script that is going to check the day of the week. And if it's the 4th day of the week, starting from Sunday, it looks like it's going to run a password change, changing the root password to today is a good day. So let's take a look at this right here. Okay. So it's already at 4 right now, supposedly, according to this date command that we just ran. So let's try to run this shell script. So it'll change the root password to today is a good day. Oh, we have to put in the entire file path. All right, so just copy that in there. Password for broken. Okay, so we're not able to execute the shell script's function to change the password. We're going to have to find a way around this. Luckily, this password policy.sh file is in a directory etc init.d, which is among a bunch of scripts that are going to execute upon system startup. We also have the ability to reboot the system with sudo. Therefore, we should be able to get the shell script to execute, as it is now day 4 according to the system clock. So what I'm going to do is sudo reboot and SSH back in as root with the password today is a good day. Hopefully that'll work. So that killed our SSH session because it's now rebooting. We're going to have to wait just a little while to see if we can SSH back in as root. All right, so SSH root at IP address of broken gallery. And we're going to try to paste in that password, today is a good day. Okay, permission denied. Perhaps we're not allowed to SSH in as root. So let's just SSH back in as broken and try to switch to the user root. Okay, so I'm just going to do su root and enter that password. Today is a good day. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're now logged in as root. This challenge is over. There's no flag.txt file in this particular challenge, so let's move on.